Yes, before I address anything about the game, I want to make sure I give a shout out, to our administration here at Xavier. Um, Obviously, we were able to get back Colby Jones and C.J. Wilcher, and we were able to get Adam Kunkel's waiver. So I just want to say thank you to Greg Christopher, Gene Griffin here on campus, Susan Lipnicki, and Leslie Fields, because I thought that gave us a huge jolt. And a lot like Zach said, we found out mid-practice, which was unique. And, I think just shows you, I think, how much our chemistry, how good our chemistry here is with Team 99, and which is going to really bode well for us moving forward. I thought the game went as I thought it would. It was physical. Guys really competed on both sides of the ball. Both teams did. We know, obviously, there's a lot of emotion in this game in the Crosstown Shootout. It's a huge game for our alumni, our former players, our former managers, former coaches, and we wanted to represent those guys the right way. And I told our guys, you got to take advantage of these moments. This is why you come to Xavier. You only get one opportunity every 2 years to go to Fifth Third. And we wanted to maximize that. I wanted Paul Scruggs to leave this series being 3-1. When Dave West, Stu Holloway, and Derek Brown spoke to our whole team yesterday, that's what they said. They said they remember their records, and they remember every single moment in the Crosstown Shootout games. Those memories are with you for the rest of your life. And, Paul was phenomenal. I mean, he was a senior. He was the best player on the floor, and I didn't think it was even close. Just so composed and had poise, and he put our team on his back at times. And he was terrific. But I love coaching our team. I love this team. We have it. We have the chemistry. We're unflappable. I think we were down by 4 at the under 8 media timeout. And I could just tell I felt good about our team. Just like I did when we've struggled at other times this year throughout some different games, whether it was EKU, whether it was Bradley, whether it was Toledo. And our group's unflappable. And I give a lot of credit to our leadership of Paul Scruggs, Jason Carter, and Zach Freemantle. But man, it's a heck of a game, man. It's one of the best rivalries, obviously, in college basketball. And again, I applaud our guys. I love where we're heading. But obviously, we got some other big games heading up here, starting with Oklahoma on Wednesday.
First question from Jed.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned finding out about those players that are all of a sudden potentially in the rotation, and I'm sure that you guys and your team got hyped when you found out, but it falls on you to kind of figure out how to integrate those guys into the game. Was there a little bit of pressure to figure out how many minutes these guys need? Was there a little bit on you to figure that out last minute?
Yeah, Jed, I would say, obviously it's nice having depth, right? You look over there and we got a lot of options now. I told our guys last night, I met with Adam, CJ, and Colby, and I said, hey, fellas, you're not going to probably play your normal load of minutes. I don't want you to think you're coming into this game playing 30 minutes because you never know what guys are thinking, right? We played 5 games. We're 5-0. I didn't want the talent infusion all of a sudden to take us out of our rhythm. And so I addressed it with those 3 guys, and I talked about it as our whole team. I just said, hey, fellas, our goal is to win the Big East title. And we need everybody in this room to be committed to that, be on the bus the entire time, even when things may not go your way individually. Because we're going to need everybody at some point on this team. We're going to. And that's already been shown this year when we had a couple guys in quarantine and all that. That's going to be how this year's going to go. And I thought our guys, our bench, our huddles were terrific. They were terrific. Guys had energy on the bench. They were up cheering for their teammates, and which gives me a really good feel. Again, it's part of the reason why I love coaching this team so much.
Next question to Adam.
Coach, I'm curious, what's going through your head at the end of that game when you watch Dwan Odom attack the basket like that and go right at Chris Vogt, a guy who's darn near a foot taller than he is? And I think that just says a lot about where he's already at. Well, what do you think about that?
Dwan made some big free throws for us down the stretch. He's fearless. He's confident in his abilities. To play like that as a freshman in this game, I think, tells you how good of a player he is. But he's got a lot to learn, right? He's still making a lot of mistakes, and he knows that. But again, he's trying to learn on the fly. And but really proud of the way that he was able to close out that game for us down the stretch.
Travis, you closed the game out on a 19-7 run. What do you attribute that to?
You know, Paul, I would say it's probably a combination of a lot of things. Number one, we took care of the ball. I thought Paul was terrific down the stretch. Terrific. But it's winning time. It's what we do, man. As I told those guys, this is why you come to Xavier. This is why we're built for this. And we got guys that are built for this in our locker room, and our guys know it. And I just think our chemistry, Paul, and just not becoming unglued. Because certain teams do, right? All of a sudden you get punched in the mouth by your opponent. You know, what's going to be your response? And our response, you know, to this point in the season, 6 games in, has been pretty dang good every time we've gotten punched in the mouth.
Next question to Tim.
Hey, Travis, during the UC presser, the players and John both all mentioned that they could really tell a difference in the fact you guys were playing your 6th game and they were playing their 2nd. Was that something you kind of jumped out to? I know it was obviously something you could easily game plan for as far as game condition. Was that something you could definitely tell with the way the game was going?
I'll be honest, Tim, that didn't even cross my mind. Just being very transparent, man. I think there's some advantages and I think there's some disadvantages, right? Like, again, I don't think that led to us winning the game. I don't.
Next, Adam.
You mentioned that David West, Tu Holloway, and Derek Brown talked to the team yesterday. Was that something they reached out to you about, or did you contact them, see if they wanted to talk to the team? How did that come about?
You know, we had been in some conversations with them over the last few weeks. You know, we got a lot of new guys on our team, Adam, and I think I wanted to make sure those guys understood how much this game means to our former players. Like, I got a FaceTime from JP McCura. He's over in Turkey right now. It's 1:30 a.m. He watched the whole thing. He was all hyped up. And, man, it's just we play for those guys. We play for those guys that have worn – again, Xavier wouldn't be Xavier if it wasn't for all our former players. And, you know, so, again, we appreciate those guys taking the time, you know, to talk to our team.
Next up, Charlie.
Throughout the game, Paul Scruggs was kind of matching up with Keith Williams. They both were playing well. Is that what the shootout is at its best, 2 seniors going back and forth like that?
Yeah, I think both seniors. Keith Williams is an incredible player. He's an all-league guy. He's been in a lot of shootouts. You're going to rely on your seniors, right, on both ends of the floor. And I thought both guys really made plays, you know, down the stretch and throughout the whole game. But like I said, Paul was mission-driven. You could tell, man, he wanted to finish 3-1 against UC during his career here at Xavier. And you could tell that right from the jump ball at that. And again, I think our team took that his personality on throughout the entire game.
Next question to Nate.
Travis, you spoke about the chemistry a couple of times and how this team has it. How have you guys as a program and a staff kind of helped this team form that tight bond and relationship?
You know, Nate, I would say, you know, we recruit very intentionally, right? We want to recruit guys that fit our core values, and we want guys that have won. And I think that's incredibly important because if you win, you have to sacrifice. You don't ever good team. Everybody on a good team has to sacrifice, and if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, then your team doesn't win ultimately. And I think we got a bunch of guys in that locker room who have won before. And we've recruited very intentionally with that. And again, it's just our guys got a really good vibe, you know. And Paul, I've told this story before. Scruggs, when I was meeting with him, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm about to go move in one of our freshmen," and he said, "Coach, I want to come over and help." I was like, "Okay." That told me right then and there that we had a chance to be really good, right? A senior didn't have to go over and introduce himself to the parents and go out of his way to help him move in. He helped him move in all of his stuff. And again, I think that tells you a lot about our leadership that we got with Paul.
Next question to Joe D.
Hey, Travis, I had a lot of people texting me during the game who have been to shootouts in the past and understand what the atmosphere is like and asking me to describe it. And I had a hard time describing what it felt like. As someone who's been in these games a lot, like you have, how would you describe the atmosphere, the energy, compared to what we're used to seeing to what you experienced today?
For me, Joe, I'll be very honest, man, it's the exact same. I don't care if there's one fan in there. I don't care if there's 10,000. I don't care if there's 15,000. Does not matter to me. Does not change our approach, the way we approach the game throughout the game, our timeouts, the whole deal. You know, again, it's the best rivalry in all of college basketball. You got two great programs here in the wonderful city of Cincinnati, two great institutions in the University of Cincinnati and Xavier University. I mean, it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game. I don't care how many people are in there. It does not matter. And our passion that we play with and how hard we play is going to be the exact same. So it made no difference to us.
Next question to Keenan.
It's your player, so I have to ask you as well. You showed quite a bit of passion there, quite at the end of the game there. I guess Zach said you slapped him first, and then you kind of just got everybody involved in that. What was kind of going on through your mind? Did you just get caught up in the moment?
It wasn't a smack. It was more of a love tap. All right. So, you know, I was just trying to, again, I wanted to get our guys juiced up. The driven team will win this year. The team that has energy will win this year. And for us, man, it's winning time. It's at the end of the game. Like, you can tell a lot, Keenan, by looking into a young man's eyes. I'm telling you, you can tell where they're at, whether they're there in the moment or they're not. They're thinking about what maybe happened last possession or 2 minutes prior. Maybe they had a turnover or a missed free throw. Man, I could tell right away, man, because a lot of times, you know, timeouts is about X's and O's. The other big part of it's about emotion, playing on that emotion. And I thought our guys really took to that, and I thought we were able to finish out the game, obviously, in a strong fashion.
Question from Jed.
Coach, you and I have talked this year about the race to 13, figuring out a way to get to 13 games in a situation where you may have to go out and schedule somebody you didn't think on a moment's notice. How dire would the circumstances have to be for us to get another crosstown shootout this year?
Hey, you never know, Jed. You never know. It's an incredible game. I mean, again, you remember each one of them. I mean, we've lost to UC over the years a few times. Like, again, you remember every single possession like it was yesterday. And like I said, and it's only really good because they have a really good program. We've been really good as well. And, again, we're just all fortunate, again, to be able to kind of put on a show for the city of Cincinnati and just make it feel like it's normal, even with COVID-19 going on.
Next up, Adam.
Actually, Tom, the question I raised my hand for was asked, so I'm good.
Jeremy.
Hey, Travis, Joe D was actually just joking about the question I'm going to ask, and I'm seriously going to ask this. I don't know how much you dropped last year buying drinks. Now, obviously, it's a different kind of year, but are you dishing out gift cards to fans this year, or what are you doing?
I'm heading up to Dana's right now, here in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna drive. We're going 2,000. We're going one for each win. So last year was 1,000. This year's going to be 2,000. So again, however many fans are there, we're obviously going to social distance. I'm dropping the money off at Dana's, and I'm leaving because I got to make sure that we can continue to move forward here because we got a big game against Oklahoma on Wednesday.
So you aren't having one and getting a DD or anything?
Say that again, Joe.
You weren't going to have a couple and have a designated driver or anything?
Absolutely not. I ain't got time. I got to get back to film.
One last question for Coach. Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, guys.